This is Ogtv Comprehensive News. I am Tuji Akintayo. Thanks for joining us. On the news, Ogun State Government auto-drives judicial system as Governor Abeokuta launches electronic case management. President Buhari arrives Paris for Peace Forum. Senate passes 2010 Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Thousands of migrants camped at Belarus border. Stop doubting yourself, work hard and make it happen.
And on the business news, the federal government set aside 250 billion naira for auto-gas vehicle conversion. These and more to come on the business segment of the news. I am Siniat Abaru.
And coming up on sport news, US Open champion Raju Kano set to name new coach. This and more sports stories much later on the news. My name is Moses Ojewumi. Stay with us.
Now the news in full. The determination of the current administration is driving the state economy through public-private partnership initiative is yielding a positive result as the American government is set to collaborate with the state government in the area of effective dispensation of justice, provision of qualitative healthcare delivery, and development of the agricultural sector. This came to the fore when Governor Abeokuta received the United States of America Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard-led delegation at the Presidential Lodge, Ibara, Abeokuta. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu completes the story.
The United States of America, USA Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, has praised the efforts of Governor Abeokuta in creating a conducive environment for making Ogun State the preferred destination for all investors. While appreciating the U.S. delegation, Governor Abeokuta said his administration is looking inward at improving all sectors of the economy.
We want to thank the U.S. government through you for the support that you have particularly given us with this case management system, which will provide for better law enforcement and better efficiency in the management of our cases. I think this kind of collaboration is very commendable and very important, and we hope that we can sustain such levels of collaboration and cooperation.
He also pointed out that the collaboration between the USA and Ogun State government is a welcome idea, adding that his administration had realized the connection between criminality and unemployment, which has enabled his government to put various interventions in place for youth empowerment.
The number one producer of cassava in this country, we're the number one producer of eggs and poultry, and we aim to be one of the number one producers of rice and maize. And again, we are the industrial capital of this nation. So one of the most, if not the most peaceful states in the country, by accident, has been through a very deliberate and methodical approach to dealing with the issue.
The U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, said the reason behind the visit was to partner the state government in the improvement of judiciary sector, agricultural sector, and the health sector.
To come here and recognize the fabulous relationship that we have in areas of health, wonderful programs with the health commissioner in primary health care, in women's health issues, in our program for the President's program for AIDS relief on HIV/AIDS. And they've been fabulous partners in the surge that we've been doing on treatment, which is helping Nigeria get within reach of reaching epidemic control of HIV/AIDS, which is just so exciting.
The ambassador informed that the partnership would help in the area of family health care and accelerated treatment for HIV/AIDS. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
In the meantime, the Ogun State Governor, Prince Abeokuta, has disclosed that Information and Communication Technology, ICT, and Partnership of Justice in the state have firmly entrenched the state's administration of justice to citizens and residents of the state. Governor Abeokuta made this disclosure during the launch of Case Management Scheduling Manual and System of the Ogun State Judiciary in partnership with the United States government at the Judicial Complex, Kobakwe. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu tells us more.
The need for digitization is very important now in view of the effect and the new normal foisted upon the whole world by COVID-19 pandemic, particularly in the area of quick justice dispensation. The launching of the case management scheduling manual and system by the Ogun State government in conjunction with the state judiciary is a very significant initiative supported by the United States of America Embassy and Olaniwa Ajayi & Co. to enable judiciary in electronic filing of cases, among other areas for smooth and faster dispensation of justice. Governor Dakpo Abiodun further stated that his administration has revolutionized the ease of doing business in the state by digitalizing many businesses of government, and judicial system should not be left out behind in order to make justice system in the state to be more effective in the handling of cases.
We believe the courts are the last bastion of defense for the common man. Thus, it is imperative that we prioritize improving the effectiveness and efficiency of our justice admission system with data-driven, technology-based initiative. It is based on this premise that the introduction of the case management cascading system by the judiciary is a welcome development. This innovative platform, which is being piloted with 6 judges of the State High Court, will provide end-to-end digital case management tools to enable electronic management of cases, to cut delays in the judicial process, and promote convenience for both the judiciary and parties who come before the court.
The United States of America's ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, said the initiative was a novel one, and it is to promote the efficiency and management of time of the judges, lawyers, litigants, and the public in the administration of justice in the state.
So the use of these forms provides efficient information gathering and processes for correctional facilities and enables them and the courts to track court attendance and case hearings for persons in custody.
The Chief Judge of Ogun State, Honorable Justice Mosumola Dikbeolu, Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, as well as the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Akingbolahan Adeniran, appreciated the Governor for his developmental approach across all sectors.
Digitization will also aid quick dispensation of cases. It makes the job of the judge easier, with the ripple effect of attracting investors to the state. We cannot talk about case scheduling or management without talking of Ogun Court House, which deals with alternative dispute resolution.
This that will enhance access of our people to justice in this state, either high person or low person. Everybody is supposed to have the same type of access to justice across the state.
A judge will now be able to give greater certainty to lawyers and to litigants, and so that they can tell them come at 9 a.m. or come at 12 noon, rather than the current practice where most people come at 9 a.m.
With some dignitaries making remarks, it was emphasized that the intervention happening in the Gateway State, especially in judicial system, will no doubt help to remove unnecessary and frivolous delays it had to experience in the litigations process as it presently stands.
The Ogun State Ministries of Works and Infrastructure, Physical Planning and Urban Development, and Bureau of Lands have been directed to henceforth ensure compensation are paid before embarking on the demolition of people's property for development projects in the state. Ogun State Governor Prince Dakpo Abiodun gave the directive while taking the presentation of the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure as well as Physical Planning and Urban Development at the Treasury Board meeting on year 2022 budget. Ministries of Rural Development, Housing, Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation, OPIC, and Health were the ministries, departments, and agencies who also presented their proposed budget for 2022. Matthew Showumi completes the report.
A time to take stock of the successes of different policies and programs of the government through effective budgeting system and develop a roadmap for the implementation of building our future together agenda in the remaining part of the tenure of the administration as ministries, departments, agencies present their proposed budgets for 2022. Ogun State Governor Prince Dakpo Abiodun declared that the era of inflicting pain on people while implementing developmental projects has gone for good, as quest for development should not be without human face.
All the
three routes I mentioned, for three projects. The revenue from those are what has attracted the funding for them. And we just deploy the receipts back to blocking the holes that were created in the construction of those roads. So, yes, the issue of non-toll revenue, which we are trying to describe that is going to complement the toll revenue, is another here and there.
3.2 billion naira is the budget proposal of the Ministry of Housing for the year, while Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation is proposing 5 billion as its budget size for 2022, as 2 billion is being proposed as the capital budget for the Ministry of Rural Development.
IGR generated as of August 31st, 2021 is 12,501,215 naira. The ongoing project will be completed before the end of the first quarter 2022, while embarking on some new critical and essential projects to be completed around the second to third quarter of 2022.
Of our performance in the year outgoing, I will admit that this proposal is fair. Then on our internally generated revenue for the year 2022 is 6,461,000,000.
Ministries of Health, Education, Teaching Service Commission, and State Universal Basic Education Board, other institutions in Ogun State, also made their presentations. They spoke on what the expectations of the people should be from the budget.
Tertiary level, what His Excellency is also trying to do, and what he has actually made clear to heads of institution, is that there is need for optimal utilization of resources in such a way that it will reflect in the development in the institution. And is even willing to do more.
And then Olabisi Onabanjo is going to be completely remodeled so that it will be a proper tertiary center that it's meant to be. Including that will be a newly built mother and child unit with about 150 to 200 beds, so that we can then start competing at international levels. So the last thing that we want to introduce is the health insurance in earnest.
The meeting continues with presentation from other ministries, departments and agencies. Matthew Shoumi, Ogtv News.
In a related development, Ogun State Internal Revenue Service has been giving a marching order to redouble its efforts by increasing the revenue performance of the state and meet up with the set target. Prince Abeokuta gave this mandate while reacting to the presentation of the proposed budget of the agency on the second day of the Treasury Board meeting on year 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework and 2022 budget. Matthew Shoumi reports that other ministries, departments and agencies also presented their budget proposals. His report.
Another opportunity to interact with ministries, departments and agencies in the states on their readiness to drive the wheel of rebuilding our future together agenda mantra, provide them with needed support and set targets for them.
I wanted to go after corporate partners that can come and say, okay, give me 2,000 hectares, I will plant part of 2,000 hectares. Increase that every year by 250 hectares. That kind of plan where you can say, okay, in 4 years we'll have about 4,000 hectares.
Ogun State Internal Revenue Service was the first to make presentation with a revenue target of 120 billion naira as ministries of forestry, transportation also presented their proposed budget for 2022. Presenting the budget of the ministry, Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adeola Odedino, said the year is marked as the commencement of so many international agriculture projects that will make the state proud, as Ogun State Agricultural Development Corporation got the commendation of the governor for surpassing expectations.
To
coordinate the value chain so that farmers will not be saying that we don't have place to sell, and industry will be saying that we don't have market. So we already have a sealed proposal.
His Excellency graciously approved for us to innovate that palm oil depot, which we have seen is supplying palm oil to supply to the retailers. So we are a major player in the retail market of SPO in Southwest Nigeria as it is as at today. This ministry was created to make money for government. But in making money, Your Excellency, government is supposed to at least invest in some of the things that
there should be places that we call emergency points where you have trace, police, an ambulance, emergency services. So
General Manager of Ogun State Agricultural Development Corporation, Mr. Bolu Utomo, and OGIRS Chairman, Mr. Gbenga Oleleye, speak on the plan for the budget year.
In 2022, for 2021, we were able to enter profitability, and our strategy in ADC, Agri Development Corporation, is called ROPE. It's called Restructuring, Optimization, Profitability, Expansion. Now we have entered profitability. It's now left for us to optimize our assets and really expand whatever we have met on ground.
We are constantly enlightening the people in terms of what we are doing and how we want them to partner with us and to see that we move Ogun State forward.
This is providing a roadmap that will serve as a guiding principle for the states in the year. Matthew Showme, Ogtv News.
Still to come in the news, the federal government dispels rumor on the safety of the third mainland bridge in Lagos. Details of this with other stories after this break. We're glad to have you back. The Ogun State government says it is targeting the vaccination of no fewer than 2 million residents before the end of the year. This was revealed to an Ogtv roving crew which visited some vaccination centers in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Gbenga Adekoya reports that residents trooped out in large numbers to get themselves vaccinated.
After the pronouncement by the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dr. Abeokuta, that unvaccinated residents will not be allowed to access government offices, schools, markets, public places, and public transport, with a 60-day ultimatum for unvaccinated residents to obtain COVID-19 vaccines. Residents of Ogun State have been trooping out in their numbers to get.
I would just advise them to come and get their vaccination, because they should not wait for the day that they are going to need it. So they should just come.
This is Block C of the Ogun State Government Secretariat, Okemosun, Abeokuta, one of the very many vaccination centers provided by the state government with a view of bringing the vaccines closer to the civil servants and members of the public. At about 9 in the morning, people were already seated taking their vaccines.
So this the first time I'm taking it. It's the first dose, and I'm so happy to be among of the partakers of the vaccine.
Yeah, it is a government policy now that we all know what is happening all over the world concerning the emergency of COVID-19. And for us to be protected, not to have such thing, and to protect others around us, we have to be vaccinated.
The administrating officer, Bukola Olayinka Efunuga, said residents comported themselves in a lawful manner, saying no fewer than 100 people usually got vaccinated at her center daily. Government Health Center Okelewa Abeokuta is another vaccination center open for free COVID-19 jabs.
I'm here for the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The first dose was very powerful. I felt sick, but I'm over it, and I'm here for the second dose.
There is nothing much, but it's advisable for everyone to get the vaccine because to prevent the occurrence of the virus, further occurrence of the virus.
It would be recalled that on Monday, 1st of November 2021, Ogun State government inaugurated COVID-19 mass vaccination campaign with a view to flatten the curve of the virus ahead of the festive season.
As the 6-man panel put up by the Lagos State government to investigate the cause of the collapse of the 21-story building in Ikoyi begins its job, professionals in the construction industry have continued to pass the bulk of blame as no one wants to be held responsible for the structural defect. Bumi Adigun reports on the aftermath of the collapse and how to avoid future occurrence.
Still fresh in the memories of everyone, the 21-story building collapse at Ikoyi, Lagos State. Those whose loved ones were trapped here will take so long to forget. Till now, nobody has been held responsible for this incident. Although an investigative panel has been set up, it is expected that it will take some time before the report comes out, and another time for implementation.
Look at the sign there. It doesn't tell the name of architect. It doesn't tell the name of a structural engineer. It doesn't tell the name of the M&E, the consultant. All you have is in bold different phone numbers. And when you call this number, according to what's been on the social media, is the same developer.
From a surveyor, an architect, a structural engineer, a builder, a mechanical and an electrical engineers who really dropped the ball in the building process.
Corruption at one hand, we have regulatory problems at the other hand, we have using quacks at one hand, we have materials at one hand. So it's really a complex issue that you cannot blame one sector for the.
What about the political will? Who gave the approval and who are those in charge of the materials of the building?
Approval for this particular, as you can see, there are 3 buildings. So 1, 2, 3. So this particular one was approved for 21 floors. It's not 15.
There should be a judicial inquiry into what has happened, and that judicial inquiry should at least be able to apportion the penalties. People should be liable for what they have done. So if the client has defaulted, then the client should be liable. Aside from losing his money, then there should be people should take responsibility for their actions.
Who will now bail the cats? Only God knows. May the soul of those who died rest in peace. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
Who will now bail the cat? Only God knows. I have in the studio a registered structural engineer and fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. While he was in public service, he served as State Director of the National Directorate of Employment, NDE Ogun State, Engineer Femi Oyenekon. Engineer Oyenekon, you're welcome to Ogtv News.
Thank you.
Now, sir, on hearing the collapse of the 21-story building complex under construction in Lagos, what came to your mind?
What actually came to my mind was that the collapse was as a result of failure of structural elements in the building. And the structural elements actually are the footing, popularly known as the foundation, the columns, popularly known as pillars, the beams, that's the horizontal element, the slab, popularly known as the decking, and the roof. Those are the major structural elements.
Now, what would you, we've been having a lot of these collapses all along. What would you ascribe as being responsible, for Lagos in particular?
Yes, in Lagos State, it's true that the government put in place some agencies, to take care of building construction. But I believe strongly that those that are supposed to take care of prevention of building collapse are not well and doing. They are not actually doing what they are supposed to do. I believe they are responsible for this collapse, for allowing the developer to be the contractor, the main contractor, and also for allowing the developer to be the project management consultant. You know, allowing the developer to combine those two roles is a major issue.
All right, sir. Now, you're looking at the developer, you are looking at where will we now place the blame? Is it on the government or professionals in the building sector?
Yes. From what actually happened, you cannot put the blame on the professionals.
How?
Because the professional that was handling the job, the building, that is Power Engineering Limited, he handled the two structures that are still standing. And when they started the third one, when they got to the fourth floor and discovered that the client, developer, was not actually giving them the right opportunity to perform their role, they withdrew. So as a result of that, you cannot blame the professionals. In actual fact, the professional did what they were supposed to do by opting out of the project, because they knew that from what was happening, the project, the building will collapse, because the structural elements are not actually put in place to take care of the loads arising from the building.
Okay, if the professionals cried out and then withdrew, but the building still continued, how do we resolve that? Where do we now put the blame?
Now you will recall that we were told that the developer was arrested, the building was stopped, and after some time, the building, he started the building again. So it means that something happened that was beyond the professionals.
All right, sir. I want to finally, let's look at how would you describe the building sector in Lagos State? So many, we've had series and series of these collapses. Are we sure this is the last?
You see, there are a lot of things that has to be put in place in Lagos. You know, the stakeholders must be thoroughly sensitized. I'm talking about awareness, you know, for the general public. The second one is that the government, there must be political will to make sure that building rules and regulations are enforced in Lagos. Then the third one is that even the professionals, they must stick to their core duty. That is the third one. Then the last one from my own side is that the client, the developer or landowners, they must make sure that they put right pole in the right position. If all these things are put in place, then the prevention of building collapse in Lagos State will be a thing will come to pass. Building collapse will be a thing of the past in Lagos State.
I want to thank you very much, Engineer Femi Oyenekon, for being part of the interview here on Ogtv News. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with a registered structural engineer and fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Femi Oyenekon. We've just looked at the building collapses in Lagos and what could be done. You're watching Ogtv News. The third mainland bridge is safe for vehicular movement, as no sector of the joint is either vibrating or shaking. The Federal Controller of Works, Lagos State, Olukayode Popola, described the news making the rounds on the safety of the bridge as mere rumor. Sequel to the unverified news on social media regarding the third mainland bridge, the Federal Controller of Works took journalists on a ride on the entire stretch of the bridge. To allay fears of motorists, the Controller of Works said repairs have been concluded on the bridge from Adekunle section to Adeniji-Adele end.
By rumor mongers, I want to tell you that it's a fake news. We are on top of a third mainland bridge now. As I'm speaking with you, you can see that it's safe. We have driven to the end and then we came back to this point. There is no place where there is any, where the bridge collapsed or where there is any vibration or a shaking.
The major work is still ongoing according to him, and it's under the water.
Piers itself, including the shaft under the bridge.
The third mainland bridge recently had major repairs conducted on it and was open to traffic in February 2021. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Paris, the French capital, on the special invitation of President Emmanuel Macron. The visit, which is aimed at deepening diplomatic relations between Nigeria and France, will last 4 days. The president, who arrived at the international airport at 2:30 Tuesday evening, is expected to undertake a reciprocal state visit to France on Wednesday. During the one-day engagement, the president and his French counterpart, particularly on strengthening economies, improving partnerships, on security, and work jointly on education, healthcare, and halting the threats of COVID-19 to the global economy.
Notwithstanding the fact that Nigeria is not one of the francophone countries, as it were, but Nigeria is one of the most important trading partners for France. And of course, we are also allies in the fight against terrorism, especially in the Sahel. And the French have invested a lot in the security sector in Africa. And together with Nigeria is also part of the intelligence fusion unit. So there's a lot of cooperation with the French, and the French President Macron, is very, very keen to increase even further the cooperation with Nigeria across all sectors: economic, trade, social, and cultural.
President Buhari will thereafter on Thursday join other world leaders, heads of international organizations, members of the civil society and the private sector at this year's Paris Peace Forum to strategize on better governance for a world peace. He is expected to deliver a keynote address at the event to share the peculiarity of the Nigerian experience with the world and efforts undertaken so far towards achieving sustainable peace. The president is also expected to participate at an international partnership forum co-organized by the Nigerian government.
Nigeria directly, and Nigeria is also very much engaged in either finding solutions to those or strengthening our capacity in those areas.
At the Peace Forum in particular, President Buhari and the participating world leaders are expected to review about 80 projects designed towards improving global peace and economy, as well as ensuring a more harmonious living. Nigeria is to strengthen bilateral ties with the European Union in the area of research and development through science, technology, and innovation. The Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, disclosed this while receiving the new European Union Ambassador to Nigeria, Samuela Isopi, in his office in Abuja on Tuesday. He said Nigeria, like other countries of the world, is transiting from resource to knowledge-based economy. As such, the ministry is at the forefront of driving innovation in the country, which basically affects every system. When fully transited, Dr. Onu said that the country will be in a position to create more jobs for our teeming population, in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's vision of lifting over 100 million of Nigerians out of extreme poverty within the next 10 years. The minister also emphasized on the bilateral roadmap between the two countries, which includes research and development. With this renewed collaboration with the EU, the ministry will have the opportunity to achieve the objectives of the roadmap. The federal government has agreed to receive less federation revenue with a proposal to collect 50.65% down from the present 52.68%. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, gave the federal government's position at a town hall organized on the new revenue formula in Abuja yesterday. All allocations to state governments, according to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, should also be reviewed downwards 25.62%, while local governments' allocation should be increased to 23.73% and derivation allocation retained at 13%. The present vertical revenue allocation formula is federal government 52.68%, state governments 26.72%, local governments 20.60%, and derivation formula 13%. Mustafa, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Affairs, Mr. Andrew Adejo, said that the current administration would implement whatever formula was passed by the National Assembly. The Senate has passed the 2010 Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which was committed to the National Assembly Conference Committee. This followed the approval of the report of the committee, which resolved that the mode of voting and transmission of results shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the Electoral Commission, and also approved direct primaries for political parties.
It is imperative, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, for me to point out that the successful harmonization of this bill is a process that started from the 7th Assembly through the 8th National Assembly and has now been completed by the distinguished 9th National Assembly. This bill is now ready for passage and presidential assent. I'm happy to say that most of what we call citizens' top priorities on the Electoral Act amendment, including the use of technology, has been addressed by this Electoral Act 2021.
Those in favor that the Senate do approve the Conference Committee report on the Electoral Act number 6, 2010, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
To confirm the nomination of Abdulaziz Idris King and Mohammed Sani Baba as commissioners representing Kogi and Bauchi states for the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. You are watching Ogtv News. Up next is Business News with Simiad Abaru.
On Business News tonight, as part of commitment to duty, the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service has taken its non-compliance and enforcement exercise to Abeokuta North local government area. Ayodeji Oluwumi was present with the enforcement team to monitor the exercise. His report.
Tax is a compulsory financial charge or some other type of levy imposed on taxpayer, either an individual or legal entity, by a government organization in order to fund government spending and various public expenditures. Failure to pay, along with evasion or resistance to taxation, is punishable by law. The Director, Legal Services, Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, Temidayo Shokumbi, stated the effort of the service in ensuring proper tax remittance from taxpayers to Ogun State government.
Tax itself is statutory. People must pay their taxes as due. Of course, we have several tax bases, and the enforcement team is out to collect all outstanding tax payments. But it's not just that tax is a civic obligation, but it's also a criminal offense not to pay taxes.
The purpose then to be achieved by the exercise was stated.
Is to improve the revenue base of the state, so that government can have value for money. They can do so many amenities for you and I, for everybody. It will cut across board.
The service, however, reintegrates their commitment to ensuring adequate tax remittance. Ayodeji Olumi, Ogtv News.
The World Bank says it costs more to move goods locally in Nigeria than in the United States of America, stating that the cost of moving goods per unit distance domestically in Nigeria is about 5.3 times higher than in the United States of America. This disclosure was contained in the Global Facility and Decarbonized Transport report newly published by the World Bank. According to the report, reducing the cost of moving goods through enhancing the effectiveness of transport networks and services is crucial to resuscitating global trade. Nigeria's crude oil production dropped to 1.37 million barrels per day last month from 1.39 million barrels per day, a survey by Platts showed on Monday. The country's oil production in October was 261,000 barrels per day, below the quota given to it by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, according to the survey. Nigeria's oil output continues to be hamstrung by operational setbacks, with key pipelines facing persistent sabotage. It noted that Bonny Light, Escravos and Focados had all faced production issues in 2021, while output of key grades such as Kwa, Ibo, Brass River, Agbami, Epo, and Egina had also remained consistently low this year. OPEC and its allies, called OPEC Plus, boosted crude oil production by 480,000 barrels per day in October, according to the latest S&P Global Platts survey. But only half of the group's members actually increased output last month, as many in the coalition were struggling to pump as many barrels as they had promised. As part of effort to ensure that the auto gas conversion of vehicles yielded the desired result, the federal government says it has set aside 250 billion naira for willing investors in auto gas assembly plants in the country. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Mr. Timothy Silva, disclosed this on Tuesday in Abuja at an auto gas technicians training and certification program. Silva explained that the decision to make the money available was as a result of the huge amount spent by government Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to adopt gas as an alternative fuel for the country. And that's the end of Business News tonight. Many thanks for watching.
We're glad to have you back. And in the world today, deadly fire decimates school in southern Niger, killing at least 26 school children within their classrooms made of straw.